Jai Hind everyone, welcome again to the Patriotic IS. Let's start our daily news analysis. Under that we discuss the IS PCSwala daily news and as well as the Hindu news. Okay, so today from yesterday we have started a news series. Under that we are going to provide the 5 questions to you, and just after the session you should go and you should visit our channel, this Telegram channel, where we have the provided the 5 questions. Please attempt, and after that we will also provide the discussion on those 5 questions. So if you will attempt this 5 question on a daily basis, so monthly basis you will be solving the 150 question, and on the yearly basis by the whole preparation you will have the 1800 question from the current affairs, and all those questions I ensure you that will have the level of the UPSC. Okay, so we will analyze the each portion of this newspaper and try to bring the most relevant question that could be the probably that could be the focus point of the UPSC. So yes, start with the major area. We will start with this 5-6 major area that we will focus. The first will be this Amendment Wildlife Act. This is demand from the Kerala government. Kerala government facing a lot of interruption from the animal and destruction of the life and property by the animals nearby the forest area into the nearby habitation, human habitation. So demand is from the Kerala government to the central government. Please change this and bring some of the power. So we will study under the this GS paper 3 mains perspective. After that we will study the this political funding or the electoral funding for the BJP has been 90%. So GS paper 2 it will be under the election mains perspective. Mostly today's class will be based on the mains perspective. The next question is the next topic will be for the rescuing grace from the disgrace. This is with respect to the presidential and governor address under Article 87 for the president and 176 for the governor. So we will study how this is the constitutional provision of that, why this is important. And this is article ARTICLE. Okay, so please rectify it. So yes, and after that we will study the center must address the grievance of the farmers. So it is editorial. There it has provided that what is the demand of the farmers and how the reform can be made and what is the needed. So GS paper 3 agriculture mains perspective we will study it. Further, we will study that how the demand of this menstruation leave for the menstruation period will impact the gender, particularly with the respect to the hiring practice of the companies and industry. So it will hamper the gender equality. So with respect to GS paper 2, gender equality mains perspective. After that we will study this emergency then and now. This is particularly comparison of the emergency period 1975 and now. It is based on the books that has been released, so we will study and it could be helpful in the post-independence India, so mains perspective. So let's start with the front page. The front page we have this protest, and this is going on the border area of the Delhi that is adjacent to the Punjab and Haryana border, and in the UP and western UP and Delhi border. So this, you should remember this Sambhu barrier in the Punjab. There they have been protests from the these farmers. Haryana government has and the security forces had stopped these farmers there. Next important news is with respect to the Indonesian General Prabowo Subianto. He is about to win this general election in the Indonesia, so he is about to form the government, and so that's why it is important. Okay, so he is about to be the leading into the election. Other news is with respect to this general news, that is with respect to the nomination into the Rajya Sabha of the different leaders of the Congress and BJP. So you don't need to focus on that. Look at this. If you will see, this looks like the border area with the Pakistan or the China, but this is not that. This is the Singhu border area where the farmers are protesting, and this all thing is against, means to protect the farmers. And there is this trench is being this is being dug by the farmers, to protect the farmers, to stop them at their, the security forces don't want them to reach to the Delhi. The next important news, already we have discussed a lot of about this free regime movement on the India-Myanmar border. So you should know that this Tiau River that separates India from the Myanmar in the area of the Mizoram. Okay, so please know this Tiau River. Other important news, this is with respect to the Thoothukudi, and this is in the Tamil Nadu. Just you should know that. This is important with respect to the environment GS paper 3. Why this is important? Because you should know that this Wildlife Act, that is 1972, this act provides the how you have to deal with the animals and who have the power to and the manner in which they should be captured, they should be released into the forest. So many times there is the criminal and punishment if you are going to mistreat these animals. That's why we frequent news is there into the Kerala, many district of the Kerala, particularly see these cases from the Idukki district of the Kerala, that the animal from the nearby forest area, they are entering into the human habitation, village and other such habitation near the forest, and they are causing the destruction of property as well as the death and casualty of the human being. And that's why there is lot of protest from the people that yes, please save us from the animal. This is the scene where the elephant is destroying the this grocery shop. So there is the opposition party that is criticizing the government of the state government of the Kerala, and yes, to shift its blame to the other, the Kerala government has asked the central government, please implement and amend this Wildlife Protection Act and give this chief forest conservator more power so that they can take the lethal action and liquidate these animals, so that they can prevent the death and casualty and destruction of the properties. Okay. So that's you should know. Next important news, this is from the art and culture. You should know that Belagavi is in the Karnataka, and this fair is Elemma fair, and this is for the goddess Elemma Devi. So please remember that Elemma Devi and this festival, this Belgavi, the area where it is celebrated. Next important news you should know with respect to the donation and the report. As per the report from the analysis by this Association for the Democratic Reform report, it has found that the 90% of the corporate donation is going to the BJP, and the donation amount is that much large that even if you will aggregate all the this donation of the all other parties together, despite that it is the 5 times that value. And see the difference between the donation or getting that received by the BJP and the Congress. It is the 10 times near about. BJP is getting 719 crore of the donation, Congress 79. So that is the difference, and that's make the impact during the elections as well. Next important news that we will take is with respect to the farmers movement that is going on at the borders at the Delhi, Haryana, Delhi, Punjab and Delhi Western UP. So what is the main demand of these farmers? Please know that the main demand is the legalization of the MSP. Here it has mentioned the legalization of MSP. What mean that? Means they are asking to make a new law where it is ensured that you will buy all the produce that they are going to produce. Generally what happens, and the minimum price for them, generally this is under the scheme, and many times under this minimum support price, if it is not legalized, they cannot approach to the court for the enforcement. If there will be law, they will be reaching to the court for the enforcement. That's why they are asking that legally bring this under the some of the law. For example, there is the forest right, and if there is any violation of the forest right of the tribal, they can reach directly to the court on that basis. So they also want this just doesn't provide under the schemes, but under the legal statutory provision. Okay, they also want to debt waiver. Lot of there are the farmers who are under the debt burden, and they are not able to pay, and in that case this debt waiver will reduce the burden on them. Cancellation of international agreement impacting the agriculture sector. There are so many agreements such as under the WTO where the we allow the foreigners to bring their produce into the India, and their produce is much cheaper as compared to the Indian produce, and that's why it is impacting the price rate of Indian farmers. Okay. Besides that, they are asking for the minimum pension of the 5,000 for the farmer's family as well. So this all creates a lot of pressure on the exchequer of the government, and that's why government is not ready to take. Okay, already many of this were the part of previous protests that was going in the 2020, 21, 2022, when the farmers were protesting against the agricultural law. The three reforms was brought by the government. Previously, it was by the Sanyukt Kisan Morcha. Now the same, it is the splinter of the same group. But yes, this splinter of the same group shows that yes, there is some difference between these groups across the Haryana, Punjab, UP, and Rajasthan. Despite that, we see that yes, farmers they want other farmers group also want some demand. Here you can see that farmers, there are different demand, additional demand. For example, in the western UP, the farmers affected by the Jewar airport project and Yamuna expressway, they are also protesting. They have the grievances. They are ready to go on the road and protest. In Haryana, Sonipat, the farmers are very much impacted by the land acquisition for the power cable. So this original Sanyukt Kisan Morcha and several other trade union, they further have announced that they are going to protest, and the date will be from the 16th February. Okay. They also want to repletion of this four-level code that has been announced by the government. They didn't feel that this is going to bring some of any of the positive impact, because that is going to benefit as per their view, their perspective. This is going to benefit these industries and companies. Okay. The policy in Haryana and Delhi, this police in Haryana and Delhi, they have stopped these farmers at 200 kilometer away from the Delhi border, because last time when they were at the Delhi border, so it pressurized. There were a lot of issue created into the transportation and other activities, so that's why they don't want them to reach closest to Delhi, because the pressure will be very high if they are at the distant place. So they can reduce that, and I think for this the government has asked them to meet into the Chandigarh, not into Delhi. The main issue is that in the last paragraph it is talking about there is need for the holistic redressal of all that issue, because these MSP is facing issue, and it's the issue varies with the geography. In the different location, the procurement procedure is different, and yes, its impact is different. For example, the procurement is good into the Haryana, Punjab, Western UP, but you will not see such type of the procurement under the MSP into the Eastern UP or the Bihar. Okay, so that's why the intensity of the protest is more in this area, Punjab, Haryana, and this Western UP and Rajasthan as well. So it is talking about that their need for the political consultation, and yes, there is need by the encouraging the beneficiaries of the current system to diverse production and the increased productivity. So overall, the productivities enhancement of the productivity of the farmers will be more impactful, and yes, there is need for the in expenditure and boosting of the infrastructure such as this warehousing system, transportation, as well as promotion of food processing industry. So all this will bring the holistic resolution for this. Next article is with respect to the article 176, and it is associated with the governor's address and the presidential address. So as per this constitutional provision, the governor and the president, they need to address the house in together if there is the two house into the legislative assembly. For example, UP had the state legislative assembly as well as state legislative council. like the Lok Sabha and Rajya Sabha. So president address the Lok Sabha, Rajya Sabha together. The members will be sitting in the together, and this address is like the policies and program of the government. So this for the president it is under Article 87. For the governor it is under the Article 176 here. Okay. So this is the provision, and this is done at the after the each general election. For example, there is the general election in April, and if the first session will be held in the May, so there will be the president will address the same manner at the each every year the first session. For example, recently we saw that President Mumu C addressed the parliament joint sitting at the very initiation before the budget. Okay, so such type of the address is mandatory as per the constitution unless and until it will be not considered the initiation of the any meeting or the session of the parliament or the state legislature. So this is mandatory. So, but the issue is that whatever the written into the this address, and what is the motive behind the what is the perspective of this governor or the president may be differ many a times. The language that is used, so many a times it become very much a controversial point, and many a times the opposition also interrupt this address if they are not agreeing on any of the points that is mentioned. So there has been always the demand that this address should be short, and it should be very precise summary of the government policy and program. But as per the writer is telling that yes, this also gives a chance for the government to show its progress, whatever it has done, the beneficiary it has reached. Means it is like a type of the opportunity to make a campaign and reach to the people, and that's why the government make it lengthy. So here it has given that many a times, like during the President Venkat Raman, he was the president between 1987 to 1992. He referred he gave many suggestions to the government of the time that please make some change. Like he asked the then government to please bring the what is the convention that is being followed into the England, because we are following it from the we have taken it from the Parliament of England, and there the Majesty addresses the Parliament of the Britain, and that's why when they ask that what are the manner they address, so they find that in the Britain it is very crisp, this is very precise and in the summarized form, so a very less controversy is there. But in India, here the presidential address is very lengthy, and that's why the same is with the governor's address. And now as per this writer, it is telling that this is about to be increased into the future. Okay, so since political polarization between the center and governors, this state government is going to increase, so such type of the tussle, such type of the friction is going to increase. So if all concerned agreed that head of the state need read out just bare outline of the legislative business ahead, and address will then belong to the neither the drafter nor to the reader but to the rightful owner listener. Okay, so here it is talking about just bring the business, what the things that is about to be happen, if that is there, so it will be neither it is the government's whatever the address is there, or this is the governors or the presidential. So he is talking about all this thing will save, and if the government want to put its progress and whatever they have done, they can do into the motion of thanks, because after this address there is the motion of the thanks. Under that the cabinet, particularly the chief minister or the prime minister, gives his speech, and under that they can bring all whatever they want to bring. So yes. So this is the simple thing. Here it has given that it needs some of the innovative and self-denying chief minister to start and reform this practice, custom and ceremony. So yes, this can be done. So you should know that this is the mandatory. This is for the governor it is under Article 176. For the president it is under Article 87. And you should know that this address is written by whom? It is written by the cabinet. Okay. So this is all about. Next important news that we are going to take is with respect to women's empowerment. So this is talking about the demand for the this menstruation work leave. Okay, so leave that is being demanded, menstruation as this writer is telling in the first paragraph, this menstruation is considered as the disease or impurity in the society. Still, we have the example, for example, she has given the example of the Sabrimala, where the entry was prohibited for the menstruating women. Okay. See, then she is talking about the if you are asking for if you will ask for the paid leave for the menstruation, so it seems that it will be the progressive, but it will have the negative impact. How? For example, take the example of this maternity benefit leave. When you are going to ask for the leave and the paid leave, under that you are going to increase the burden and expenditure of the companies, and they will not going to hire women in that case. Means this will impact, this shows that yes, it has the progressive and positive impact of the women, but in reality it will have the negative impact. If you will implement this, what will happen? If the company and the factory will think that women's, I need to give some of the extra leave for the menstruation period, so they will think that this is the burden to pay, and they will decrease the number of women. Already we know that the women are paid less as compared to the men. Beside that, the hiring practice of the women is lesser as compared to the men. So this is going to, if you it and she is asking that this menstruating period is painful for the few of the women. It is not the issue with the every women. She has given the example of this with the Japanese practice. In the Japan, despite this is legal, there is rule for the pay for the menstruating period for the women, but only 1%, less than 1% of women take this leave. 99% do not take the leave. The first reason is that it is like the broadcasting that they are in their menstruating period. So this is the one thing. Beside that, she has given that the status of Japan under the this gender equality is very low, and we know that under this World Economic Forum's the report on the women's gender gap report, global gender gap report, the rank of the Japan was 121 out of 153, and later in 2003 it slipped to the 125th position. So it shows that despite the Japan being the developed countries, but the thing is that the mindset of the people, the patriarchal tendency is very high in there as well. So she is giving the example of other things such as the 50% of women in India between the age of 15 to 25 still do not use the hygienic practice during the menstruation. They are still using the cloth, and they reuse the same cloth during this menstruation period, and that's caused the infections and the disease. So this is the condition. They are not able to frankly say that yes, I need this sanitary pad for the menstruation. So this is all thing you should remember that whenever you are going to discuss that the paid leave for the women or the paid leave for the menstruation work period. So all this thing you should be bringing the positive and practical impact as well. Okay, it is good progressive that if everyone, if it is the neutral society, in that case the this paid leave, maternity paid leave is very good. This paid leave for the menstruation period is very progressive, but the people thinking is different. Instead of positively impacting, it will reduce the hiring practice for the women. So this article want to convey all this thing. Next important news that we will take is the analysis and comparison of these two books, Emergency Chronicles and the Keeping of the Good Fight. So this is about to the comparison of the emergency situation and now the misuse of the different laws such as the UAPA, sedition under 124A. All this law is being misused in the same manner. There was the misuse of the law during the emergency time of 1975. So here in this article, you can use this under the post-independence India GS paper 1. Okay, so this will be useful. So this article start with the how the dissent is not being accepted by the who are in the power corridor. It started with the this one of the case study anecdote from the France. There was a famous case under that the French Army general. The name of that general staff officer was the Alfred Dreyfus, and he was arrested by their government on the charge of espionage. Okay. So this is the case. There was the open letter of the JQs, and it was by the Emila Jola. Okay, and this was in the newspaper. Laurore. Okay, so this is the French name. I don't know how to pronounce it, but this could be the that. Okay, so this is all about here. Here it is mentioned that the same is the case now we are facing in the India as well. Like the, for example, it has justified that if you will analyze the charges and cases on the basis of the sedition. Between 2018 and 2022, there has been the 5,000 cases, and out of this 5,000, only 149 has been the conviction. So you can see the difference. It is more than 100. It is 500 times the 500 times the cases is there. Only out of 500 case, only one is being genuine and being convicted. This is the situation. So it is telling that this is not for the punishment or persecution. This is for the just giving message that please don't criticize us. If you will criticize, you will be persecuted with the different law. So here it has given the one of the example of the this one of the example it has given of the this from the Kashmir. Here the website KashmirWala and its editor Fahad Shah was arrested on the charge of the UAPA, and the charge was that it is abetting, it is creating the narrative of the terrorism, and it is this website was created and founded to spread the terrorism and create false narrative. This was the case. This case was appealed into the High Court of the Jammu and Kashmir. Jammu and Kashmir High Court found that there is nothing written in this website, or the whatever they are writing is that is connoting that there is the conspiracy, or there is anything that ask for the do violence to the people, or yes, nothing was there. So it was nothing. The High Court find nothing provocative in their writings, or the resorting to the taking the arms. There is no appeal, such appeal, and even the High Court said to the government that please be cautious and please be circumspect whenever you are going to impose this UAPA, because whenever the case is imposed under the UAPA, this is very difficult to get the bail, and even this process became punishment. For example, take the example of this. If the 5,000 cases were there and only 149 was convicted, but all 5,000 personality against those cases was there, they must have spent some time in the jail, 2 years, 3 years. That is the case. So without means if they are not being able to convict it, so this means that in the doing nothing they were into the jail for the that much years. So that is so much rigorous. So yes. Here is the case that is given, one of the cases study from the emergency in 1957. One of the case was there. There was the arrest of one of the student of JNU at that particular time, and the name of that person was the Prabir Pudkayastha. Okay, so he was arrested. Why he was arrested? Because he was asking student to the please protest against the emergency and please do not attend the classes. So at that particular time, the Dean Sanjay Gandhi wife, Mainika Gandhi, was the student of the JNU, and yes, this person, Praveen Pudkayastha, he asked to the Mainika Gandhi as well that please don't attend the classes, please join us the protest. And yes, the case was who filed the case? The case was filed by the Sanjay Gandhi against this student, and that person. And when the case was filed, this additional division magistrate was not ready to give the arrest warrant for that student. After that, there was the call. There was the instruction from the Lieutenant Governor of the Delhi. Think. And after that, there was the arrest of this person, and this person was arrested under the Maintenance of the Internal Security Act. This was the act so much, it was so infamous that it was means for example, the Lalu Prasad Yadav, he named her eldest daughter as the Misa, and her name is the Misa Bharti on the this act itself, because he was also arrested under this act. Okay, so that person is spent 1 year into the jail and 1 month into the solitary confinement. So this was the case. Okay, so further it has mentioned that yes, now the same person is facing the jail term and arrest. Now he is the editor of the news click, and against him there was the case for, related to the Enforcement Directorate and Tax Department, when Delhi High Court released and rejected all those ground. Then he was charged with the terror case with the Chinese link, and now he's in the jail. So here in the further in the last, it has mentioned that the India might not be under emergency today, but the situation faced by the dissenter and activists, especially those opposed to the religious fundamentalism, is not lesser or dissimilar than the situation being faced in the 1975. Okay. Today's regime, here it has mentioned the support ground, the difference between then Indira Gandhi emergency and now. Now there is the at that particular time, mostly there was the opposition of the emergency, but now there is the support by the ground troops of the political party into the power. Okay, and now one difference thing is that compliant and corporatized electronic media, and this is absent in that particular time, and this media enjoy very high power because they can influence the perception of anything, and whatever the perception you are going to create, the legitimacy will be as per that perception. So now here it has mentioned that lot of law that is being misused, like the sedition law under the section 125A, preventive detention, armed forces special power act, and yes, UAPA. So all this thing is there. Now you see there is no direct repression of this praise political parties or the court, but the thing is that these praise political parties or the court, those who are in the position, they are also not acting like the gatekeepers of the democracy, and those who are going to oppose, they are going to face these charges. So this is all about for the today's news. Here, I hope that I have concluded. I have covered most of the area that is relevant for the UPSC. Here, I will conclude my session. Thank you for joining the session. All the best. Jai Hind.